So what I'm going to do right now is share my screen. I want to talk about a couple tactical things that the business owners can do right now, and then we're going to get into the SBA loan. So Bruno, hang in there with me, because you might want to have some comments when we get into the loan. So
Okay.
in times of a crisis, small business survival depends on 4 tactics. You got to triage the mindset. You've got to get tactical. You've got to deploy a course, develop a course of action, and then deploy a rapid plan. And what I've been telling people and coaching people is to try subtraction, not addition. Meaning your to-do list was already long. It's long right now. Don't unnecessarily add more things to it. They're going to stress you out. Concentrate on what you do best. And the first thing with the mindset, you got to think about your family, your employees, your vendors, everybody on this list. Everybody has different needs. They're concerned about different things. They're fearful about different things. Your children may be upset because they can't go to school. They can't finish the sports season. They have other kinds of issues. Your employees, Lord, we know what those are. They're afraid they're going to lose their job. They're concerned about their family and their neighbors. So as a business owner, we have to learn how to communicate and work through their problems as well. And let's talk about your vendors. Be in touch with your vendors. They're concerned if they're going to lose you as a customer. Are you not going to be able to pay your bills? They've got all kinds of concerns. Same with lenders and landlords. And I touched on this a little bit earlier. Get ahead of the problem. Don't let the problem chase you, because then it usually doesn't end well. If you can't pay your rent, call your landlord and start having those discussions right now. There's several options that could be done. Maybe you can get a reduced, maybe 30% off of your rent, or maybe only pay 30%. Maybe they'll give you a month or two and extend it. They understand the problems, but they want to be able to communicate with you. They want open communication, and especially with your lenders. Right now, automobile loans, they're pushing them back 2, 3, 4 months, and they're pushing them to the end of the term. Same with mortgages. Some mortgage companies are pushing them back 1, 2, 3 months, and they want all of the money on the 4th month. I can't figure that one out. But yet other mortgage companies are extending it. They're putting those payments to the end of the term. And let's not forget about your partners and your investors. If you have investors, if you have partners, and they are silent partners, I can tell you right now, they have a whole nother set of fears, besides what you have. You have to communicate and stay in touch. You've got to triage your mindset and help triage everybody else's mindset. Now let's get tactical. All right. You need to file for the SBA loan. And we're going to talk about the two different, the different kinds of loans that are available. But even if you don't think you need it, you may not need it today. You may need it in 30 days or 60 days. Nobody has a crystal ball on this thing. We don't know what it's going to be like in another couple of months. File for the loan. And we're going to talk in detail about that and why you should do it sooner rather than later. Do some in-depth cost cutting. Do a cost cutting audit. We have a formula and a checklist. I'm sure you have your own. We can help you with that if you want, but do the cost cutting audit. Figure out what your monthly burn rate is. Figure out what your monthly burn rate was last month, what it is this month, what it's going to be next month. This is all going to come into play when you file for that loan. Do an available cash resource audit. Look at several areas, and I've identified at least 10 different areas in anybody's business where they can immediately start looking for available cash outside of a loan. So do a cash resource audit, and then you got to do some message repositioning. If your business is a restaurant and you no longer are open for dine-in, and if you are only doing curbside or delivery, you need to change your ads, right? You need to let your clients and your customers know what's happening, what's going on. And if you've closed your business, you need to still stay in front of your audience and your clients. Don't give up on that. Too many studies have been shown, and McDonald's was one of them. McDonald's Corporation learned the hard way during one of the previous recessions. They cut out their advertising and their marketing. Burger King, Wendy's, even Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken, everybody ended up way ahead of them for the fast food dollar market when the recession came over with and McDonald's had to work their way back up to get that market share. They were out of sight, out of mind, right? So you don't want to be out of sight, out of mind. Your message will change, but when you do your cost cutting, do not cut your marketing. Yeah, totally out. You may reduce it a little bit, but don't get rid of the whole marketing program. On developing your course of action, you need to look at, we do sales and marketing audits for our clients. We look at their sales, how they go to market, how they're paying their commissions, what kind of percentage of closures their salespeople have. We look at their marketing. Our marketing and sales audits take a little over 4 hours when we sit down with a client and actually work with them, and we look at things that in ways that they've never looked at it before. We do an ad conversion evaluation. If you don't want us to do it, please, I'm not begging you, but I'm asking you, do it yourself. Look at your ads, figure out if you are getting the optimal conversion out of it, right? Is your ad getting you 2 leads a month, or are they getting you 200 leads a month? If you're only getting 2 to 4 or 5 leads, you need to look at your ads and do a conversion. And that means you need to call up the guys that are doing the SEOs. If you've got a marketing company, an advertising company you're working with, you need to start asking the tough questions. Why am I paying this on a monthly basis and I'm only getting X amount of conversions off of my ads? Ask the tough questions. You need to look at your profit growth and analyze it. Where are you with your profit? Have you had to drop your pricing? Have you had to drop the services? Where are you with your pricing and your profit, and doing an analysis? We can help you with that as well. But here's the big one: innovation, evolution, and revolution. Now let's look at these. You need to sit down and look at the technology that you have right now, and how is that technology going to change? Look at what we're doing right now. We're on a Zoom. There's people on this call from California, from Florida, New York, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas. I can go on and on and on. They are associates of mine, they are clients of mine, and they are people that had just heard about this that joined in, right? But look at the technology that we're using. I have a client who's a physician in Oak Park, Illinois. He went to telemedicine, right? So if there's an emergency, he still goes to the hospital. He still has his client come into his office, right? But other than that, he's doing all of his office calls online. It's working fabulous for him, right? He never dreamed he would have to go to telemedicine when he started his practice 40 years ago. How is your market going to change? How is your ideal client going to change? That's key. That's very important, right? Which competitor of yours is going to be left standing? How are your competitors going to change? What are they going to do to meet this new market and this new ideal client? Will your company profile be different? Will your unique value proposition change? I'm just about going to guarantee that everybody's value proposition is going to change a little bit, if not a lot of it. And then what kind of new opportunities and services or products do you think this new market, this new normal that we're going to be entering into? Give an example. I'm talking with movie theaters, right? They're very concerned. Do they start pulling out every other seat or every 2 seats in their movie theaters? So when the upturn comes back and people are still concerned about people coughing and getting too close, do they have to have social distancing in the theaters at least for a while? For a year? For 18 months? For 4 months? For 3 months? Nobody knows what their clients are going to expect. Same thing with restaurants. We've done an analysis on several restaurants with our clients, right? Where they're going to lose 30, maybe 40% of their seating once the upturn comes, because we don't know what restrictions or what guidelines are still going to be put into place for how many months. So start thinking ahead. What is that going to look like? Be on top of it. Be ahead of it. Get in front of it. You've got time right now. If you're sitting at home or if you're only working part-time with your business, you have time to start thinking these things through and getting ahead of it. And then the last thing is very short. It's called deployment. When you've figured it out, when you've got the answers, when you've been innovative, right? When you've created, when you've figured out what you're going to do, then do it. Just do it. Don't sit around and call up friends and neighbors and family. Hey, should I do this? Should I do that? You are the leader of your company. You're the CEO of your company. Make the tough decisions, put together the plan, and then deploy. My feeling is this: if you don't budget the time to do it now, it's going to cost you a whole lot more time and headaches when the upturn comes and you're not ready on this post-recovery.